How's it going, everyone? It is I, Anime Outlet, and this is part 7 of What If Deku Had a Creation Quirk. And now, let's begin. Izuku would clench his fists as he was angry. He should have been there. He should have helped All Might defeat All for One. He should have helped all those heroes do it, and yet he wasn't. As that dumb best genius that pulled him out of air and caused him to miss just some great fighting experience. Izuku would get angry at this before just shaking his head, letting it go. You know what? It's not worth getting angry over. I'll just let this one slide for now, Izuku would say to himself before walking back up to his room. As Izuku would walk up to his room, he would lay down onto his bed before scrolling through his phone. All he could see was how all these heroes were doing just such great teamwork and this and that. It made Izuku just even more angry. He should be getting this publicity, but yet he would end up going back. This isn't why I'm a hero. I'm a hero to just help my mom. I'm a hero to save people. Zuko would say this to himself before thinking even harder. You know what? Just forget it. He would say to himself, falling to sleep. We cut forward 3 years to graduation day of UA. Zuko and everyone else had basically just gone off with no problems at all. The League of Villains were gone, and there was really nothing stopping them. They could continue on their hero journey with no villains just blocking their path from doing so. So with that, they would become heroes, getting their hero licenses and getting their diplomas from UA saying they graduated. So on graduation day, Izuku would walk up to get his diploma. Holding it up in the air, he would smile. However, all of the sudden rumbling would be heard and seen all around the campus. As many people would look around, they would wonder what was going on, as all of the sudden, out of nowhere, a massive ravine would split open the entire half of the campus, causing for UA to end up crumbling into it. As all of the sudden, spiky stairs would end up appearing as Overhaul would walk up them. He would stare towards all of the UA students, as Shigaraki would be not so far behind him. Ah, do you guys know what time it is and what day? Shigaraki would say, smiling down, looking onto a clock, or onto a watch on his phone, or on his wrist. No, why, they would say, completely just confused on what was going on, as Shigaraki would smile. It's the 2-year anniversary since All for One's death, and since you all ruined my life, he would say as Overhaul would place his hands down onto the ground. As spikes would protrude out of it, would end up going right into a couple of just general course students' stomachs, killing them instantly. As this would be happening, Izuku would jump into action, just catching both of them with his telekinesis, holding them down. It's even been so long I've forgotten all of your quirks. Thankfully, Overhaul here happened to just get defeated a couple months back, so we were able to turn him into a Nomu after just exchanging the body with a fake. It's quite the smart plan after all. And now this guy looks exactly like a human, but acts exactly like a Nomu. It was perfect. Thank God no one killed the doctor. And with the technology Ian All for One managed to create, he figured out how to inject people with quirks and take them after just sucking all of their quirk energy out of them and inject that into others. Basically, like a more human version of All for One, I guess you could say, or more mechanical and manual. But that's besides the point. You all are going to die today, Shigaraki would say, not even moving a finger, as all of the students around them would be picked up by a strong telekinesis quirk. As they would all be picked up, Zuko would went under him. As they would be up, Izuku would try to stop this with his telekinesis, but he was too late, all of them being sent flying into the air. Izuku, using his telekinesis, would stop everyone as he continued on falling. However, Uraraka would reach out her hand, touching Izuku, stroking just his shoulder with one tip of her finger, causing him to float into the air. So they'd all be floating there. Izuku would slowly ease them down, and so would Uraraka. With them slowly coming down, Izuku would stare towards Shigaraki, as if just giving him a look that said it was over. However, Shigaraki didn't budge at all, merely only smiling. "Oh, please, Izuku. Like you'll be able to even land a scratch on me. That's simply not gonna work, you know. I'm not gonna lose to someone like you. Hey, I've already dealt with you before, and I'll surely be able to deal with you again." He would rush towards Izuku, however Izuku would dodge Shigaraki's attack, punching him right across the face, knocking a tooth out of Shigaraki's mouth. Shigaraki's tooth would land onto the ground, would look up towards Izuku, and Izuku would be standing over him. "I may not be able to kill you, but I will be able to knock you out," Izuku would say, knocking Shigaraki out right then and there. Shigaraki's anger had gone to his head, causing him to grow weaker, and because of this, he was emotional during his fight, making him lose his sense of self and where he was going with his actions. So without that, he really had no course of action or plan when he was going to attack Izuku. And without that, he had nowhere else to go. He was just knocked out, done. He couldn't win without a plan, especially against just one of the top 3 heroes in all of UA. So with that, and Shigaraki knocked out, Overhaul would be captured as well, not having any orders from Shigaraki, and Izuku would continue on just the UA ceremony. With Overhaul knocked out, all of the stuff he did would end up going back into place as a side effect for some of the other quirks that he had gotten from the Quirk Doctor. With all of that said, Izuku would graduate UA and would end up becoming the #1 hero. As Izuku would become the #1 hero, he would stop all sorts of different things, just all sorts of different crimes, as his path to the #1 hero would end up causing him to just end up having a family, and his children would end up just becoming top 10 heroes as well, having just quirks similar to that of Izuku, allowing them to either just create different things or just create whatever he felt like it, create quirks and this and that. As we end up seeing Izuku smiling to himself standing over his mother's grave, an old Izuku who had long since retired his hero duties would stand over it smiling. "I did it, Mom," he would say to himself, as up just holding a letter that said his child had become the #1 hero. "My life was good. I made yours good in the final years. Now my children's life is good as well," Izuku would say to himself, smiling. And that is where What If Deku Had a Creation Quirk comes to an end. I hope you all did enjoy it, and if you did, please consider subscribing, as it really does help this channel out, and you can even be notified when the other parts of this series do end up coming out. I thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye.